Today I'd like to show you a game in Marvel Rivals Ranked where I got 73 eliminations. And this gameplay I want to show you because it really breaks down how so important it is to never give up in this game. You may feel like the game is lost and you may just stop trying. But if you do that, you won't have games like this. And you'll miss out on potential extra rank up points because you feel like the game is lost. The game is never lost until it says game over, right? So this is a great example of what happens when 5 random solo queue players come together and don't fight each other right at the very end to try and make things work no matter what. I want you to pay attention especially to the overtime period where we really, as a unit, decided to put everything on the line to try and make this a win and make this a great comeback. Even though there was a bit of squabbling early on in the game, we kind of put our differences aside and made it work. And I think if every player can think like this, they're going to rank up and have a better time. So let's jump into it. The first thing I always like to do when I'm playing this map on defense, I usually play this position, right? And I'll immediately destroy this building because I feel like it allows you to have more sight lines, gives less flanking routes for the enemies as they push up. And then because we're playing Iron Man, we then get up on height and hold height here. We got the gamma charge with Hulk, so obviously that's going to give us even more power. So Thor tried to push up there, pretty easy kill for him. And then we can sort of like peek our shoulder and just do a lot of clustered damage on these players. Not necessarily going for kills here, but just trying to deal damage to slow them down and see if there's any picks that come my way whilst we're, you know, waiting for any potential picks. And if anyone tries to get a little bit too aggressive here, we will be ready. And then, you know, here we go, rotate for this Doctor Strange, and I see an opportunity for a kill. So we get our gamma ready. We absolutely shut the Strange down. We see Hawkeye in the back line. I'm like, that's an easy target there. He does get up in the sky and shoot me out of the sky, though. Now, what's interesting about this game, right? There's a Hawkeye and a Hela on the enemy team. So later on, you'll see how we play Iron Man and still manage to do well, despite the fact that everyone says Hawkeye and Hela massively counter Iron Man. I don't think it's necessarily true. I'm being a bit of an idiot there. I'm out of range. We rotate through here. So when you take damage as Iron Man, I always like to use the jetpack to quickly rotate and just go to where the health packs are. Like, I'm always aware of where the health packs are. What I'm doing there is just honestly attempting to stay on the point to try and slow them down. I probably could have, you know, survived a bit longer if I didn't do that. But I wanted to be on the point. Nobody on my team was on the point. And if you can shut them down here, it just makes things so much easier. This point here specifically is a pain to attack. But once you get through this first choke, like this first objective, it becomes a lot easier for the attacking team. So I throw myself at that objective, honestly. Any last chance I can to slow it down and potentially stop it and end the game early. So now what I'm doing is I'm peeking this left angle, making sure that I'm not exposing myself to the Hawkeye and Hela too much. And as they move up, I'm rotating back and just putting a lot of pressure on them. If I see any potential damage, I'm immediately going back to my back line. If my healer's got my back, that's great. If not, then I've also got the health pack around the corner right there, as you can see. I'm basically, at this point, all I'm doing is chipping damage, farming my ult, and then waiting for when I've got my gamma, which is the team up ability for Hulk, which does 220 damage a second. It's ridiculous. Hela's ult goes down, so I'm hiding out of cover. I don't want to die to that. But I'm thinking, whilst I'm doing this, let's see if we can go to the backline and sneak a little kill on the support, which is what we do. We kill the decoy first, and I'm like, okay, we almost got both supports, no problem, let's try and sneak out. Fortunately, as I rotated there, I did get caught out by the Hawkeye. The Hawkeye, I think, on the enemy team was the SVP. He was pretty good, but we did manage to come out on top. So, and you'll see later how important it is just to never give up. You can pull out some crazy wins in this game, and people really are quite surprised. At this point, honestly, I'm feeling pretty, even myself, like things aren't going to go too well. You know, 6 kills. They've already pushed up this far. It's not looking great. And even myself, I'm feeling this is not going to be the easiest of games. But I know that there's always potential. Like, I can make something work. I'm thinking maybe I can get a nice hit on my ult there. You know, we get 1 support. We get the Hawkeye. The Hawkeye dead. I'm feeling much more confident taking out the Hela. The Hela didn't seem like much of a threat, honestly. Her aim was not as good as the Hawkeye's. So now with both supports gone, it was really easy to just chip down the tank. My focus now is like, I don't want this objective to go on, right? Let's try and end the game here. If we can stop the game here, that's so much better. You know, if it goes over that line, more time is added to the clock. It makes things more difficult when we're on the attacking side. Look at this. We don't get to see the kill cam because I'm spectating, but the Hawkeye, honestly, was such a problem. Not because I'm playing Iron Man, because as you saw there, I was peeking cover in the same way a Punisher was. He was just fortunate enough to hit me and not Punisher there, which is a bit of a shame. Right, at this point, I'm thinking, right, the Lunar Snow ult is here. I'm just going to farm damage and wait for my next ult. I like to keep my ult most of the time to counter the Lunar Snow ult, because it will one-shot Lunar Snow even in her ultimate. Did get caught out there, unfortunately. The first round at this point goes as you'd expect it, honestly. Like, we're trying to defend, but it's a mess. As a solo queue team in this situation, it is a mess. It's really hard to do. And it's at this point that the team starts to feel a little bit like there's no chance, right? There's no chance whatsoever. And, you know, that's pretty rough, but I never give up my hope. All right, here we are on the attacking side. This time, Doctor Strange is creating a portal. Now, I think if I remember this correctly, this is where things started to go very wrong. The portal was a bit odd. Oh, no, it was fine. No, it was yeah, it was a little bit odd. It was a little bit odd. And we almost lost. We did almost lost, but we managed to pull it through. And it's just a real great showcase of, like, why you should never give up. And as long as you're in overtime, things can turn around. Things can turn around, right? I'm starting to notice is the Thor is starting to put a lot of pressure on me. But it's very easy to escape as a Thor. Against the Thor, honestly. You just use your dash as Iron Man and fly away. I'm healing Namor inside, so I'm like, right, let's try and pick off a Namor. At this point, I know how difficult it is to attack. So I'm really just trying to, like, fly to and from the buildings, looking for any potential, like, kills. Here I'm just trying to dodge and get to the next health pack. Managed to do it, stay alive. The missiles that you fire as you're, like, in that jetpack thing do not do much damage, but they do block vision, you know, a little bit. So that's pretty cool. So at this point, we're just trying to try our very best. I don't know what's really going on at this point. The enemy team, for some reason, seems a little bit disorganized. We did kind of manage to pick up quite a few kills, and I don't really know why. Even I'm like, where are they? Like, what is going on? And I finally realize, oh, they're on height. And yeah, I don't know what they're doing, honestly. We managed to shut this down. And at this point, it's kind of like, okay, we have the chance to make something work here. And it's just putting pressure on them. Immediately, like, as soon as we're through that objective, I like to move up and just put pressure on them. Pretty straightforward stuff. There's nothing special here. There's some, like, sightlines in this map with Iron Man where you can't, like I did there, you can get some, like, AoE damage around corners. Even though they can't see you, you're still going to damage them. Because you know where they are, you know where it's going to hit, so it's pretty good. That's pretty much the same deal right now. Like, we don't have the Gamma Blast anymore, but we still have the upgraded version that does do more damage. So I'm usually just chipping away health, waiting for that charge, and then seeing if I can get any kills, you know, like that one there. And then I'm rotating up because the charge has a limited amount of time before it goes back on cooldown. I'm trying to be using it as much as I possibly can, you know? Nothing great. This is a nice little cheeky angle here, right? They can't really see me, but I can do splash damage. If they're, like, trying to hold that bridge, they did end up moving back a bit. And I really like just spamming the blast there for the AoE damage because it kind of slows down pushes. I realized a Namor ult comes down, so I'm like, okay, they're going to push up on us a little bit here. So let's go back. Lunar Snow puts her ult down, so I'm on the ground now, trying to make sure that I'm in the radius of the Lunar Snow ult. Just trying to put as much damage as I can as possible. But yeah, this game doesn't really get really crazy until we go into overtime, you know? I've got my ult. I'm thinking maybe I can make a play here. It's kind of hard to make the ult work, but because we can farm damage so quickly, I'm pretty happy to just make a risk and see if I can make it work. Right, now I'm trying to fly up on height and get angle of Hela, just to try and shut this down. For some reason, I don't know what it is with Helas, but they always look down and they forget to look up. A lot of them. So we can usually, like, just take down the Hela ult. We did get a shot from the players below, though, which is unfortunate. So at this point in the game, we are at 24 eliminations. You know, we've got a decent amount of damage. We have died quite a lot, but as has everyone on our team, pretty much. And we're really just trying to, like, make it work, you know? Obviously, the enemy team is doing a good job of keeping us at bay here. At this point, it's just, once again, spamming, farming damage. Building up that ult again, because Luna Snow's an ult. We're not going to get a kill here. But we can try our best to just keep farming damage no matter what. I feel like as Iron Man, when I've got my Gamma or my upgraded laser available, you can sometimes kill Venoms. That was a cheeky angle from Namor there. Yeah, you can sometimes kill Venoms. They kind of get a little bit surprised by that. Even though they, you know, they usually should swing away with them on lower health, but you can kind of catch them off a bit. At this point, it's a bit of a struggle, you know. I'm trying to make something work. I'm not really feeling it's going our way, you know. And I don't really have, like, the chance to peek them. Like, there's no good flanking routes on this map, so it's really holding angles, building up damage, and then hoping that we can, like, maybe kill the backline with the ult. Here I am going for the ult. I'm trying to get up on height so that they can't see me. And I think, oh, this is going to be a good one. And then, yeah, it didn't really do anything. But, you know, they still moved back from that for whatever reason. I don't know why. It gave us a bit more room to play with, so we're able to move up on that. Yeah, so it is really hard to make the ult work because it fires so slowly. The best way to use it, in my opinion, is to flank players or get into the back line and hit them when they don't see you. So that you're already, like, basically right in their face, so they can't have time to move out of the way. I'm hearing the Hela roll, and I'm like, you know what? I can't go and get her. She's going to see me if I try and get her. I'm just trying to be useful any way I can until the Hela ult's over, and then we're like, okay, now we can go and kill her. And honestly, it's just the same thing right now. It's the same deal. If I can get a kill, I'll get a kill like this. And if not, then we're just farming damage until I can get the ult. It's just no... Until we get to the next checkpoint, there are not any good flanking routes to go for the backline, which is what I'd usually try and do. And this is where things get kind of crazy, right? We've got 5 seconds left. And then we go into overtime. Someone, luckily, touches the point. People give up at this point, man. Always go and at least try and tap it, even if it means you die. Because it means your team can still play. At this point, I'm like, right, let's just get on this spider thing. Let's hold it. Doing everything we can to just try and stay in the game. I saw that Hela was not in the Lunar Snow ult there, and I'm like, maybe we can get a kill there. Fortunately, I did get caught out, but the Scarlet Witch came in clutch, got a couple kills with her ult, and it was all just a crazy scrap right at the very end. And then finally, we manage to hold it and kind of push them back a bit. Just a little bit crazy. Now we're in overtime. We are in overtime, and we've got to make our way all the way to the end of the match, and then go into, like, overtime again, into, like, round 2, and then try and win it. So it's all a little bit crazy. I think that it's moments like this that you just got to try and come together and realize that we can still do it. And so many people, like I say, I've said this a few times, but so many people will just give up and be like typing in chat, GG, my DPS sucks, GG, my support sucks, GG, this tank's terrible, or whatever they want to say. They just give up. It's not over until it's over. We made it to the checkpoint. We now got a minute of time to work with. I'm trying to move up on height here. Now we can actually start getting some nice cheeky angles here. I'm putting pressure on this team because we've got more room to move with, some high ground to play on as Iron Man to get some good peaks without, you know, taking too much risk. This is an angle here where I have cover. Like, yes, I'm playing Iron Man, but, you know, it doesn't really matter. I try and make that work. I thought that maybe we could get a nice hit on the team there, but they went inside. And Hela, for some reason, stayed outside, so we caught her out. Not the end of the world. 1 kill for an ult. It's okay. And I hear footsteps behind me. I'm like, I know there's a Thor there, but I'm going to keep dealing damage until he comes up. Jetpack out of the way of his ult. Somehow he still hits me. Lunar Snow comes in with the clutch ultimate there. As a Lunar Snow player, I feel like people are always like, why you use your ult, why you waste it? But if you're healing constantly, you're going to have it quite often. And it is one of the most powerful tools to get the objective moving. I really do think that. Hear the Hela ult. I'm just staying out of the radius of that until she runs out. All of my teammates are doing the same. Scarlet Witch pops another ult, does a lot of damage. And that's just like pushing them off of the point, really. Honestly, our healers here really clutch it out. They really do. They manage to keep us healed up and make sure that we can like push these guys off of the finish. But things don't really get crazy until the next round, right? Because the other team already won 3 rounds. They took it to the very end. And we're going to do the same, which means it will go into like extra overtime, another round. And that's where things just go, wow, like absolutely crazy. It just shows you like if a team actually works together, even if they're a bunch of randoms, they can still come together and make things work, right? So we now go in to overtime and we are attacking. We've only got 1 minute to attack. Strange calls for another portal play, so we're down for it. Venom was like in chat, I'm gonna go and try and distract them. I'm gonna make it look like we're moving normally, and then we go in. We're like, oh, where are we? It was a bit confusing. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll get on height, see if we can get some angles on this. See a Rocket Raccoon, try and take him out to start this engagement. Goes on the back of Groot here, but I'm still like, maybe I can get him. For some reason, no one really seemed to pay attention to the fact that I was right there. Maybe because the rest of my team was like going a different route. That was a very easy kill on Lunar Snow. Not sure what she was doing. It's very interesting how a lot of people will just get distracted. They'll get distracted with the big cluster of enemies and not notice that there's literally a guy behind them shooting you. Hear the Doctor Strange art. I'm like, maybe I can get some cheeky picks on this as they drop through. Couldn't quite make it work. The enemy team does a really good job of like trying to stop, like shut this down right here and there. You know? I don't even remember exactly what happened here. That was really cheeky. Tried to pull my Iron Man out right there. Winter Soldier grappled me, which meant it got cancelled. Now, if you die when your ult is activating, it goes to 0%. If you get like cancelled or interrupted, then it goes to 50%. At this point, I think I'm typing in chat. I'm like, don't leave this thing. Just stay on it. Because we're now in overtime. When you're in overtime, you don't get extra time when you complete objectives. So we cannot leave this spider. And I'm just like, everybody, don't leave this thing. We can win it. I'm typing that in side chat. I'm saying, just, we can do this. Stay on the point. And this here is just like an incredible show of like never giving up from everyone on the team, you know? I think it's really inspiring. The Venom tried to get us there with the ult, and I thought, you know what? Let's just get him off that insta-kill with the ult there. And at this point, it really is just a show of like, if you guys just coordinate, admit your faults, and come together, you can make it work. Like, there's nothing wrong with telling your team. If someone's underperforming in your team, suggest if they want to play a different role. And I think on the other side of things, if someone suggests for you to play a different role, don't take it personally. Don't take it like in a bad way. They may genuinely just want to be trying to get the team to win. And if you are, you know, a DPS and you're having a bad game and you died 9 times, even if you feel like your support isn't helping you or your tank isn't there, like, just try and switch it up. It could change things. In this case, though, all it really took was us to kind of realize that there is no need to give up. And the really funny thing is, I think at this point the enemy team is starting to feel desperate as well. They're like, how can we let this keep going, you know? So the mood has shifted for both teams. We as a team have become more confident, and the enemies have just completely become disorganized and are like frantically trying to kill us. If they perhaps had, you know, comboed their ults together or something, they could probably have stopped us, but they didn't really try. And this is really funny here. They gave us so much room. I have no idea why. They gave us so much room here. They didn't even peek. You know, I'm shooting my thing there, putting down splash damage, thinking that maybe that'll slow down any pushes. But looking at it back through the replay, seeing all the enemies through the wall, they just sat in the spawn. I don't know what happened. They give up. They gave up. It looks like they've given up. I just can't believe it. I feel like so much of this game is just about being resilient through stupid stuff. Like, you are going to get eaten by Jeff the Shark. You are going to get stunned. You are going to get weird deaths that just feel annoying. But you just got to, like, move on, shrug it off, and just keep trying. Because you never know how things could go. Like, honestly, the enemy team here just gave it to us. And at this point, we already have 63 eliminations, 28 final hits. The Doctor Strange on our team is doing absolute great work. Both supports, honestly, on both teams are doing really well. It's a really close game. And now at this point, it's like, right, we just have to defend. We just have to defend. Once again, playing it the exact same way. They have 2 minutes 35. I think we only had 1 minute. They have a lot more time to try and attack. So, you know, a little bit more is on the line here to try and slow them down. Same strat. I'm kind of like wondering if they're going to port because they're not pushing. I'm typing in chat, careful of a portal. I like to, here's one thing I'm doing, right? When a Doctor Strange creates a portal, usually is trying to like find a straggler, like one player on the team, on the enemy team that they can just jump on. So I'm kind of being neutral. I'm staying in the middle of the point because I don't want him to try and like pick me off or pick one of us off. I want to be ready for if they portal in any direction. So usually I'd play a lot more up close to the enemy spawn, but I'm just staying right in the open here, waiting for that teleport, because I don't want to be like too overexposed. And it looked like they didn't portal in the end. At this point, we still don't really know. And then, yeah, I'm like, okay, that Hawkeye's got a nice angle on me. I'm going to get to the ground then. I'm going to go and play behind the tanks. I don't know how he even hit that. The Doctor Strange shield went down for a split second. It flew past him. He was definitely aiming for the Doctor Strange shield, and it just ended up hitting me, which I think is quite funny. Whatever reason, the Hawkeye swapped off of Hawkeye at this point and started playing Iron Man. Don't know why. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was the, yeah, it was. The Hawkeye is playing Iron Man now, and the Hela is playing Hawkeye. So, obviously, they've changed things up. I heard the Moon Knight. Interestingly, you can track, even though they're invisible, if you damage them, it will make Moon Knight appear. Same with Psylocke's invisibility. So you can track them. Like, once you know their movement speed, you can kind of, like, track them whilst they're invisible anyway. Kind of a cool little trick. I put a lot of pressure on that point, so I'm trying to get a different angle. I realize it's looking pretty rough. There's not really much of a chance we're going to be able to shut this down. But I try. I try anyway. You know, I don't care. I'm going to just jump in there and try and shut them down. And luckily my team had the same idea. And they really, really did try here. And, you know, here comes the ults. Everything. I even type in chat at this point. Spam your ults. Spam your ults. Because if you can shut it down here, we've won the game. If not, then it's looking like it could be a draw, you know? And I tried to hit something with that and I realized, nah, it's not going anywhere. It was really a frantic ult spam just to try, like, everyone on the team try and slow down the push. And it worked. Everyone spammed the ult. I see so many times where there's a game where people will have their ults at the end and they don't even use it. Like, they could have desperately tried to spam their ults to make something happen. And they don't. They don't. Like, that can lose them the game, right? At this point, we are on 70 eliminations already. And we are trying our very best just to slow it down. That heroic last push to just throw everything at the checkpoint. Go in there, even if you might die. Push them into overtime. And at this point, I don't know. It looks like the enemy team's just given up. They're standing still. I don't know. Maybe Strange popped his ult. I don't know what happened there. But, yeah. At this point, it's like, well, there we go. We won the game. We could have given up in that second. We could have, like, let them had the zone because it looked unwinnable. But we didn't. we stayed strong and we tried our very best to stop them getting that objective no matter what, because it meant that we didn't have to keep the game dragging on. We actually won, and out of the top of it, we did come out with 73 eliminations. Look at the supports on my team. That Rocket Raccoon had 69 assists, which is crazy. Doctor Strange had 49,000 damage blocked. Pretty chaotic. It was a good game for like pretty much all players, honestly. So it's really awesome. Just goes to show what you can do when you don't give up in this game. And the more times you don't give up, the less you're going to have losses. There's just, you're not always going to win games like this, but the ones that happen will slowly add up, and then you're going to rank up. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll find this a little bit more inspirational when you next have a rough game that doesn't start off the best way. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio.